What's happening, everybody? Trey here, and today at Reactions to the Classics, got a list that I'm very excited for. Shout out to our patron and friend and big-time Elliott Smith fan, as I am myself, rocking the Elliott Smith either or shirt today, as we're going to be taking a look at Elliott Smith's top 12 songs, according to our buddy Josh here for the list he submitted, man. Josh loves Elliott Smith. I love Elliott Smith, man. Really have discovered and dove into his music in the past year and a half, and I just think he's one of the great singer-songwriters of all time, if I can be so bold to say. Man, his music really resonates with me, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the list that Josh cooked up for us today, man. So it's going to be a really fun time, and we usually do top 10 lists, but you know, Elliott's too good, man. We had to expand it to a top 12. So with all that said, let's just get into this list and some quick facts a little bit, and also preface it with a little preamble, I guess you could say, that Josh said. He said, "This is one of the most torturous top 10 lists I've done, and that I had to include 2 more songs. While accumulating the list, I had over 30 songs. I'm sure many Elliott Smith fans might be outraged that I didn't include any tracks from Roman Candle or his self-titled album. My favorite songs from those records are No Name Number 3, Christian Brothers, and Coming Up Roses. I tried to include them, but it wouldn't have been a true top 12 if I did. The most difficult part was getting the list from 17 to 12. I had to cut the following tracks: Son of Sam, Say Yes, one of my favorites, Happiness, Pretty Ugly Before, and Somebody That I Used to Know. It's been nearly 20 years since his death, and his music still sounds fresh. He excelled in every instrument that he played, which worked out perfectly because he played almost every instrument on his records. I hope everyone enjoys my list and forgives me for not including the overrated Needle in the Hay hot take. Josh never one to shy away from those hot takes. That's why we love him here, people, and I'm sure already getting some of you fired up in the comments section. A little bit about Elliott for those that don't know. He's American singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, born in Omaha, Nebraska, the same birthplace of my dad, Sean. Raised primarily in Texas, just like me. Lived much of his life in Portland, Oregon, where he first gained popularity. Smith's primary instrument was the guitar, though he also played piano, clarinet, bass, guitar, drums, and harmonica. He had a distinctive vocal style characterized by his, quote, whispery, spiderweb-thin delivery, and often used multi-tracking to create vocal layers, textures, and harmonies. We're definitely going to hear a lot of that today on the list. After playing in the rock band Heat Miser for several years, Smith began his solo career in '94 with releases on independent record labels Cavity Search and Kill Rock Stars. In '97, he signed a contract with DreamWorks Records, for which he recorded 2 albums. He was a heavy drinker and drug user at times throughout his life and was diagnosed with ADHD and depression. His struggles with drugs and mental illness affected his life and work and often appeared in his lyrics. In 2003, at age 34, he died in Los Angeles from 2 stab wounds to the chest. The autopsy evidence was inconclusive as to whether they were self-inflicted or the result of a homicide. At the time of his death, he was working on his 6th record, From a Basement on the Hill, which was released after he died in 2004, in which my dad and I actually did a full album track-by-track review for, that you can check out if you so desire after this, man. And I won't get into Elliott's, death story and the conspiracies there, but there is a lot of, kind of murkiness in that regard, where it's still, unsolved to this day. But I guess all that to say, man, let's just dive into this list. Due to copyright, music won't be in the list here on YouTube, but check out the Vimeo link down below where you can see the full video uncut, man. You're not going to want to miss this one, in my humble opinion. As always, going to have the lyrics pulled up, and there's not a lot on the upfront research for a lot of these tracks, so we're just going to let the music kind of speak for itself. And we're going to start with a little XO song here. We have Bled White, XO released in 1998. Really strong record. Has many songs on this list. A couple obvious ones that I'm sure you're already thinking of. So let's kick this thing off. Number 12, Bled White. Thanks again to Josh. Let's get it. All right, Bled White kicking us off here. One of the songs I'm least familiar with on this list. So I enjoyed revisiting it right here, man. And a couple things really struck me on this listen, man. The layering of Elliott's vocals just worked so well together, and we're going to see that more throughout his work, especially as you get to that later point in his career here. XO kind of that turning point where he goes full in then really playing with the studio as well. Either or kind of was almost that transitional record, I think, to go into that production and still kind of keeping the more acoustic roots that his earlier work had. So now here on EXO, we really get to see him show off just that production quality. I love the guitar tone on this as well. The drums came in quite powerfully. I like the imagery as well and songwriting that Elliott was going with here with the whole color thing. He says, I'm a color reporter, but the city's been bled white, and he plays on this bled white idea throughout the entire song, which is, I think, an interesting metaphor as well, because you think you're usually bleeding in color, of course, but bled white, kind of interesting. He also hinted some of the substance issues, drinks all night to make this curse, to take away this curse, but it makes me feel much worse. Bled white. He later notes some drug use as well. He says, because happy and sad come in quick succession, I'm never going to become what you became. Already that honesty that I just enjoy so much from Elliott's work, already coming into the forefront here on our first track. So I like the ending line, I'm not effed, not quite. Bled white, there's still that sliver of hope. Okay, I'm not totally effed yet, but now we're going to go to a song that I've really dove into this past month or so I'm really happy that Josh included it on his list, and this is going to be from the only project of Elliott that I haven't listened to in full. It's off his New Moon compilation that came out, I believe, in 2007, but this is going to be the track Angel in the Snow. It's a song taken from the sessions from Smith's second self-titled record that took place between late 94 and 95, and didn't see that release until 2007's New Moon. So if you haven't heard this one, you're in for a treat. All right, Angel in the Snow. What a great track. Just love the dueling acoustic guitars that we have. They're just layered so beautifully together. The melody, Elliott's ear for melody is just really astounding, as we'll continue to hear throughout this list. And that's what's really stood out to me always on this track. And then you get a very strong vocal performance by him coming in. That's a whispery, description that so many apply to Elliott's voice is on display here, man. And I've heard a couple different interpretations on this. Is this more innocent in the sense of being about like a love interest? I'd say you make a perfect angel in the snow. But I've also heard you kind of get in that danger zone when an artist is depressed or has issues with substance abuse. You want to just read everything they did through that lens. I've heard people say it's about drugs and cocaine, all crushed out on the way you are, better stop before it goes too far. And then the lines, only a cold still life that fell down here to lay beside you. They kind of read that in a more sinister sense. However you interpret it, I kind of like to go the former, that this is like a relationship, like a person that can kind of give be that angel-like figure in a life that is difficult, so to speak. But in whatever case, it is just a really, really great song, and I think just showcases that ability for Elliott to write tracks that could have these multiple interpretations on there. So everything on this song hits for me, man. It'd be in my top 10, I believe, if I made an Elliott Smith list. So cheers to you, Josh, for bringing that. And now we're going to No Name number 5 off of one of my probably top 20 records of all time, either or. My favorite Elliott Smith project right here, came out in 97. This song titled No Name number 5 is a reference to his first solo record, Roman Candle, where 4 of the 9 tracks were, of course, No Name this, No Name that, whatever the case may be. I know Josh mentioned he's a big fan of No Name number 3. I like No Name number 1 off of Roman Candle, and No Name number 5, though, probably bounces over all of them, so to speak, man. So really great song right here. Let's get to it. A couple things about this song I really, really enjoy. First off, just the kind of slow nature that the song has, almost just dragging that instrumentation around, but that something's about to drop around the corner, and that's where we get that second verse, about 2 minutes in. The drums come in a little bit more full, the bass it seems to kind of punch up, and it's still obviously a very slow moving track, but just that little shift there, that anticipation. I thought it was really masterfully done by Elliott here. And of course, just the lyricism, kind of loneliness personified in this song right here. I mean, the opening line is something that most singer-songwriters will never get in their entire career, something this great. Got bitten fingernails and a head full of the past, and everybody's gone at last. A sweet, sweet smile that's fading fast because everybody's gone at last. Great rhyming, great alliteration already in there. And he continues to note in that second verse, kind of gets to the heart of things. And I hope you're not waiting around for me, because I'm not going anywhere, obviously. Got a broken heart and your name on my cast. I just really think that's some very sad, striking imagery right there. And everybody's gone at last. When you have that feeling of alienation and loneliness, not too many artists better to listen to than Elliott Smith right there to make you feel not so alone. And I think this song personifies that. And now we're going to go to our first track from Figure 8 here as we go to Better Be Quiet Now. Another awesome song. So this record came out in 2000, has a lot of great tracks, and might not be the last time we hear from this record, but let's cue up Better Be Quiet Now. All right, another heartbreaking track right here, I Better Be Quiet Now. Yet again, the melody is so sweet, coupled with Elliott's voice, and yet whenever you really cue in on the lyricism, you can just get that sense of just hopelessness and loneliness here, obviously coming off of a relationship that is now broken. He really, Elliott kind of yearns for this person. I think the line, if I didn't know the difference, living alone would probably be okay. It wouldn't be lonely. And then you just, get that epic refrain, I got a long way to go. I'm getting further away. That whole you never know what you got till it's gone type of deal, or you don't know what you're missing until you have it. I think that was summed up beautifully by Elliott right there. And he, just kind of just is resound in the fact that this situation's over, and I'm a long way to go to where I want to be. I better be quiet now. I'm tired of wasting my breath, carrying on, getting upset. And so, I mean, man, this song too, I think just again highlights just that ability for Elliott to really get to the heart of tough life experiences and situations, and put them in a poetic way while still just having beautiful music surrounding it. So great song right here. And now we're going to on the short list for my favorite Elliott Smith song, and it's going to be 2:45 a.m. This was my most listened to song. You get the Spotify Wrap for 2020. If that tells you anything about how that year went for me, man. Whenever you have an Elliott Smith song at the top, friends and family that know are going to be like, is this man okay? Is this man okay? But 2:45 a.m., just an epic track. And yet again, I think really kind of hits home with some of that loneliness and despair. So let's buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. All right, 2:45 a.m., which I think really sums up the nature of this song, man. You're up at 2:45 a.m. And you're not with your loved one, man. You're probably in your feels, man, in your thoughts. And Elliott really, again, gets to the heart of that here. Yet again, the guitar is just so gorgeous on this song. He's very, Elliott's vocal delivery here, very, quiet, whispery, until we get the drums that finally come in, in the last, 40 seconds of the song, in that final verse. I just, man, there's so much about this song that I enjoy. I think that, he really just gets to the idea of somebody who just is kind of lost, and again doesn't really have that hope, and is recognizing that there's that deep hurt in there that isn't quite healed, man. I think the line grabbing onto whatever's around for the soaring high or the crushing down. You also get talking about relationships. You also get like that line, alcohol or drugs. You're looking for anything to kind of help numb the pain or make you feel better. And my favorite line, with hidden cracks that don't show but that constantly just grow. You don't always see the inner struggles that people are going through. That's why they're hidden cracks that don't show, but underneath the surface they might be widening more and more, and that pain just gets worse and worse, so to speak. And then we get into it's 2:45 in the morning, and I'm putting myself on warning for waking up in an unknown place with a recollection you've half erased. looking for somebody's arms to wave away past harms. Yet again, looking for that somebody to help take that pain away. Then the drums come in. He talks about Center Circle, which is an area in Oregon where he lived. He says, been pushed away and I'll never go back. And I've always found that last line striking, that he's almost, I think in that sense, like knowing, okay, it'll never be like it once was. And maybe he doesn't even want it to be anymore just because of how much pain he's in. So awesome song, man. Thanks to Josh for including it on the list, man. We might have come to punches if he didn't. But now we're gonna move on to From a Basement on the Hill, the posthumous record that Elliott released, and it's gonna be the track Twilight right here. Man, this is a really strong tune. Obviously, it wouldn't be on the list if it wasn't. So let's cue this one out. Twilight, bringing it in here, man. What a great song. I haven't listened to it in a little while, so that was a good experience, man. Following along with the lyrics, just a very beautiful vocal performance here, and yet again, instrumentation complements quite well. You have almost the birds chirping every now and then, and of course the last 30 seconds kind of kept that outdoors type of soundscape, so to speak, man. So that was a bit intriguing as well. And as we go through, the kind of the vibe I get from this song is that Elliott, found this person that is so beautiful, that knows everything, that is great in his eyes, and yet in the back of his mind he knows those drugs are there, which are explicitly said in this song, kind of there, and possibly his other baby, so to speak, man. As we go, yet again, the vocal layering here is just exquisite. She's a sight to see, and then you get Elliott saying it again, echoing sight to see. She's good to me, but I'm already somebody's baby. She's a pretty thing, and she knows everything, but I'm already somebody's baby. And then we almost shift, I don't know, perspectives in the song, but might have the woman talking to Elliott here. You don't deserve to be lonely, but those drugs you got won't make you feel better. Pretty soon you'll find it's the only little part of your life you're keeping together. What an expert line that just really is insightful about addiction and why people will turn to drugs and the destruction it could have on your life. Man, I just think that was powerful. I love that I could make you smile if you stayed a while, but how long will you stay with me, baby? Because your candle burns too bright. Well, I almost forgot it was twilight. Even if I think you are right, well, I'm tired of being down. I got no fight. So in that sense too, it's one of those things that kind of occurs a lot in Elliott's music, where something's going well, but you're almost waiting for that other foot to drop, or think deep down you don't deserve that type of a love connection. So man, great track right here, and we're gonna keep on with From a Basement on the Hill and go to the opener, Coast to Coast, the longest song on this list at about 5.5 minutes. So let's cue this one up. Right, Coast to Coast, bringing it here. Definitely the most the experimental, maybe not isn't the right word, but hey, it's the word I'm gonna use, song that we've heard up to this point. Definitely ambitious in its structure, man. From that opening, where you as I said, you cue this in, you're gonna be in for an experience here, man. And then at the end, where that poem's being recited, it almost sounded like there was two different voices going on, almost like a sermon and a poem, and at the same time, or whatever the case may be. A bit more up-tempo and rocky than most of the songs that we've had on this list thus far, man. Not one of my favorite Elliott tracks, but that just shows how great his catalog is, because this song is still really freaking good, man. And I ain't gonna, roast Josh for including it at number 6 on his list. As we get going, I think, yet again, Elliott's kind of getting to that heart of looking at this other person and wondering if he can live up, or if there's a sense of, is there anything I can offer this person that they don't already have? He says, I've got no new act to amuse you. I've got no desire to use you, no, but anything that I could do would never be good enough for you. So then you wonder, in that sense, is it just from a self-deprecating nature, or is this person also just kind of a jerk and doesn't ever give Elliott his due or props? He notes, if you can't help it, then just leave it alone. Leave it alone. Yeah, just forget it. I believe I'll forget it too. And he notes, still you're keeping me around till I finally drag us both down. So yet again, that self-deprecation, knowing that I got to keep people at a distance possibly so they don't get hurt. And yet again, you have a bunch of that great, studio tricks in there with the multi-tracked layering of the vocals and everything. It just all came together as a really strong song right here. So now we are in the top five, ladies and gentlemen. Number 5, one of his more famous tunes here from Either Or. We got Ballad of Big Nothing, just an epic song, and I think it's one of his more famous songs because it is so darn good, man. So let's get into it. Ballad of Big Nothing, a worthy song and a top 5 here, in my opinion, man. Yet again, I think the build up to the drums that are about 20 seconds in, you get that acoustic guitar that sounds so pretty. Drums come in, and then Elliott just kind of is fast and not fast and furious on the lyricism, but he packs a lot in only a couple minutes of his singing, man. And you get the character who is an addict who is trying to score at all times, and you kind of get that chorus in there that's a bit ironic maybe in the sense, or a bit like not everything is as it seems. You can do what you want to whenever you want to. You can do what you want to. There's no one to stop you. If you want to be a drug addict or do this or do that in your life, then no one's going to stop you in that. You have the freedom to do so, even if it's going to be a destructive path, so to speak. You got getting in the back of a car for candy from some stranger. I don't think that Elliott's talking about Reese's or Skittles here. Or watching the parade with pinpoint eyes of smoldering anger. Just Elliott will hit you with some very poetic lines just out of the blue right there. And this song's no different, and I like how it really ends, though it doesn't mean a thing. Big nothing, just the way that Elliott kind of ramps up his voice on that final line. So great track right there, and we're gonna keep the sad feels going with Everything Means Nothing to Me. And I love this song. The piano riff on this is just gorgeous, and yet again, that build up to the drums at the end are fantastic. There's also a story here that I haven't necessarily verified, but I saw it on Genius. I thought I'd share it. Apparently, Elliott was having an argument with his friends about his future and how he should be living. He proceeded to take a knife, carve the word "now" into his arm, and he began writing the song and playing the piano, blood dripping on the keys and all. Is that true? I am not 100% sure, but the story was published in Spin magazine, so hey, maybe it has a little bit of validity to it. Quite the wild story right there, and quite the great song. Had that really full chamber-like sound in here, and as I mentioned, man, that piano is just so infectious and an earworm. And then as the song builds up to where, yet again, Elliott's so good at building up either a guitar melody or a piano riff or whatever, coming in then to the drums that just strike you heavy. And this song's no different. Love the way he delivers, especially the just repetition at the end there of Everything Means Nothing to Me, just in that higher register, man. Sounds so authentic and earnest and just beautiful. And I think too, as you read the lyrics, someone found the future as a statue in a fountain. Add attention. Just the way he sings that in his cadence is so perfect. Looking backward in a pool of water, wishes with a blue songbird on his shoulder, who keeps singing over everything. Everything means nothing to me. And you just get that build up as he continues to ramp up in the chorus. And I think the reflection in the water showed an Iron Man still trying to salute people from a time when he was everything he was supposed to be. Just looking kind of back into the past, and maybe this is Elliott himself looking at his former work, maybe how he's viewed by the people at large. Oh, everything means nothing to me, so to speak. I'm going to play into that, or just that honesty, and okay, maybe everything really does mean nothing to me because I've had this success, I've had this, I've had that, and whatever feelings he might have about all that. But all that to say, man, really, really lovely track. And now we're going to go to Elliott's most famous song, I'd say, as we go to Miss Misery, number 3 on the list, of course, from the Good Will Hunting soundtrack. Just rewatched that movie recently. Really good film, and Elliott's music is all over it. And of course, this song really helped catapult Elliott into more of the mainstream light. It's featured in the closing credits and the soundtrack to Good Will Hunting, and was nominated for Best Original Song at the '98 Academy Awards. A previous version of this track with different lyrics were recorded in a Jackpot recording studio in early '97 and appears on New Moon, actually, so I need to check that out. The Good Will Hunting version was recut at Jackpot. On March 23rd, '98, Smith played an abridged version of the song at the Academy Awards, accompanied by a house orchestra. Following the shocking nomination for Best Original Song, Smith had to be convinced by the producers to perform the track at the ceremony, at which he intended not to do so. They informed him that his song would be played live that night, whether by him or by another musician of their choosing. They also reportedly rejected his style of performing sitting in a chair. Before the ceremony, Elliott, responding to a reporter's question, said, "Mainly, I just want to go so I can wear my white suit. I always have a great time when I wear my white suit." When Madonna announced My Heart Will Go On as the winner, she sarcastically remarked, "What a shocker." She later said that she greatly admired Elliott Smith. Afterwards, Smith described the experience as surreal and ridiculous, but at a certain point, I threw myself into it because it seemed to make my friends happy. I walked out and Jack Nicholson was sitting about 5 or 6 feet away from me, so I avoided that area and I looked up at the balcony in the back and sang the song. There's a documentary called Heaven Adores You about Elliott. It's a decent documentary that just kind of highlights his life, and we have some interview clips of him specifically talking about this. I believe it's on Amazon Prime here in the States if you got it. But all that to say, man, really unbelievable song. Let's get into it. All right, Miss Misery, one of the great opening lines, man, that you're going to hear. "I'll fake it through the day with some help from Johnny Walker Red. Send the poison rain down the drain to put bad thoughts in my head." So obviously from the gate, you're not in for a happy, cheery song right here. And he then gets that refrain that we have in the song. "Do you miss me, Miss Misery, like you say you do?" Just a phrase that rolls really well off the tongue, the miss me, Miss Misery, that kind of play on words has always struck me as impressive and kind of neat. And I think, too, as you really kind of dive into the lyrics and the lines, that Miss Misery isn't an actual Mrs. or whatever you want to call, but I think it's that inner misery in himself that will come out when he's drinking, will come out in, his more depressive, darker states. And I think whenever you have just the piano going and the guitar, just the musical arrangement on this is just fabulous. And I think one of the reasons, on top of just the great storytelling that Elliott has in here, that the song became such a great hit, and man, should have won that Academy Award. What were they thinking? Not the first or last time they're going to hand out an award to the wrong winner, so to speak, man. He notes that "I know you'd rather see me gone than to see me the way that I am, but I am in the life anyway." That's a very powerful statement right there. You almost got that sense of, are there thoughts of that suicide coming in from that miserable part of you? But he says, "I am in the life anyway." He's going to keep on keeping on, so to speak. Just an expertly done song, man. It would be in my top 10 if I was doing a list, for sure. I think would be in most people's, and it's one of those cases where an artist's more famous work is, some of their best work, which obviously isn't always the case. Now we're going to go to number 2. This list is just flying by, man. It's been great, and this song, King's Crossing, is one of Elliott's more powerful and honest songs I think he ever has done. And so if you haven't ever listened to this one, man, you're in for a heavy tune, but a great tune. So let's get King's Crossing on deck. All right, King's Crossing, a powerful tune, man, to say the least. Just like Coast to Coast, and a lot of this record, man. The production quality is definitely upped, and a bit more showing Elliott kind of branching out a bit. I thought the kind of backing ooze in there that you have as that the first guitar strums come in was interesting. And then, you get into Elliott, who's kind of got a darker delivery here, whereas a lot of, tracks on like Either Or are, very soft in his vocal delivery. Here he comes with a little bit more of an edge, I guess you could say, which maybe reflects where he was at this point in his life. He notes that the judges on vinyl decisions are final. He talks about just kind of the music industry itself and how that's affected his life and his thought process on that. And, you get powerful lines like, I can't prepare for death any more than I already have. He notes the method acting that pays my bills, keeps the fat man feeding in Beverly Hills. Again, just kind of those music executives. And I wonder, the whole method acting thing is, again, Elliott kind of leaning into this tragic figure that he was viewed as from the public, who's just a depressed guy that struggles with substances, and is that all there is to him? And that's definitely not the case, but that's what we heard through his music, and people run with that. And he says, I get my check from the trash treasury because I took my own insides out. A lot of insight, I think, in this song to just Elliott's relationship with the music industry, more so than any other song that he ever wrote. He says, it don't matter because I have no sex life. All I want to do now is inject my ex-wife. Obviously a lot of heroin references in this song as well. He notes the skinny Santa that's there, which I am assuming is his heroin dealer. And you have that whole idea at the end, give me one good reason not to do it. You get the little backing female vocal, because we love you, so do it. I'm talking about heroin or possibly even suicide, however dark you want to read this. And but all that to say, man, the instrumentation with the guitar, with the piano, that sounds a bit ominous. It's just a really great song, and I have no problem with Josh placing it on this list whatsoever, man. Great track, and one of kind of the darkest, I think, Elliott songs too, just for how personal it is to him. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for number one, and you're probably wondering, where's this track? Well, could it be any other place? We got Waltz number 2, XO, from XO, of course, man. One of Elliott's more famous songs, and it stays true to the name and the waltzy nature of it. The piano on this is fantastic, as are the lyrics. And so let's enjoy this, and then at the end I will say my favorites from this list, and maybe some that didn't quite make it on Josh's. So let's get to it. All right, Waltz number 2, XO. Just man, especially in that final lines, man, you still get chills on that final. I'm never gonna know you now, but I'm gonna love you anyhow. Just the production on this is just fabulous. The way that it starts off just with the that drum beat, and then you get the acoustic guitar added, then finally the piano comes, and definitely stays true to its name with the waltzy nature of the song, and it's just brilliant. And then just again, with how personal and emotional this is for Elliott here, talking about his upbringing and his mother, and marrying and getting in a relationship with his stepfather, who Elliott was not shy, going back to the earliest days of his work on Roman Candle, the title track there, talking about just his anger toward his stepdad, and the abuse that he suffered at his hand, and just how he affected here his mother's emotions. She shows no emotion at all, stares into space like a dead China doll. Then we just get the brilliant chorus, I'm never gonna know you now, talking to his mom, but I'm gonna love you anyhow. And we go through another one of the more powerful parts of the song is the revenge to the tune, you're no good, you're no good, you're no good, talking the Clint Ballard Jr. song, you're no good. We had Kathy's Clown earlier, which is what his mom chose, and then his stepdad chose that one to sing. And so as we go through that, he continues to call him Mr. Man with impossible plans to just leave me alone in the place where I make no mistakes, and the place where I have what it takes. Elliott talking about being in his musical element, and then finishing off with a couple more of the chorus refrains. Just an emotionally stirring song, powerful, to this day, and one of those songs that I think you can apply your own situation as whoever that you is that you're never gonna know possibly, but I'm gonna love you anyhow. And maybe even as us as Elliott fans who came in after the fact when he passed, that's just such a poignant phrase to describe your relationship to an artist that has passed on, so to speak. So great list right here, Josh. And now going to my favorites from your list, I got to go Angel in the Snow, 2:45 a.m., Ballad of Big Nothing, Everything Means Nothing to Me, Miss Misery, Waltz number 2. I know I named pretty much all of them right there, but I had to, man. A couple of my other favorites that didn't make it would be Roman Candle. I would go Alphabet Town and Good to Go from his self-titled that I really liked. Speed Trials, I'm a big fan of. Pretty much everything off of Either Or Angelus is great. I think Pizzilla is another one that I really enjoyed off of EXO, Baby Britain, and Can't Make a Sound off Figure 8. A Fond Farewell is another one of my favorites. So many great tunes that Elliott had. He's just one of my 5 favorite singer-songwriters of all time. I think he's just marvelous, and I hope if you weren't familiar with his work, this gave you a taste of how brilliant he is, man. And as Josh noted at the start, the fact that he plays nearly all the instruments on most of his albums as well just shows what a talented musician that he was, and just a great arranger and of music, and just songwriter and lyricist and vocalist as well, in my opinion. So long live Elliott Smith, man, R.I.P. And I will be streaming his music for many years to come. And I think if you have dealt with mental illness or substance abuse or whatever the case might be, that it's just going to resonate all the more for you. And Elliott's able to put those conditions into words better than really anyone I've ever heard. So cheers to you, Josh, for bringing this. Of course, let me know your favorites from this list and your favorite Elliott Smith songs and records down below, man. I'll have to do an Elliott Smith discography ranking as well at some point on the channel for sure, to continue to discuss his great work. But if you enjoyed this video, man, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit that big red subscribe button, and you can check out our Patreon page if you'd like to submit a list of your own or support the channel in any way. We appreciate it. And until next time, thanks for watching, happy listening, and we will see you.